Welcome to the Buylist. This is episode 14.
This is not financial advice. This is cardboard, Ted.
Hey, Nate.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
We're going back deep diving, man. So last week we took a look at Dusk Till Dawn. Returned to format this week for our Wednesday episode. We're going to dive deep into some Majestics that we think. Actually, I think this week we don't have any holds or sells. So these are really the buy list this week. Let's jump over, take a look at our first one here. So this is one that I picked, Nate, Pulsewave Harpoon. This, it's like sitting at $5 right now, 93 listings, 48 sold in the last week. So this thing is moving. But yeah, $5. I think this is a pretty affordable price for this card. I think in the heyday of Dynasty when Dash was the hotness, we're pushing like $10. Well, actually, we can look at the chart and just see back in January this was over $15, and it's been trending downward since then. So I think at $5 you're looking at close to the floor. This card's too good to be like $5, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a staple for Dash, which is currently the only mechanologist. I would be shocked if we don't see another mechanologist this year. Like, it would actually shock me. There's been no mechanologist since Dash, which was literally like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
like more than 3 years ago at this point. When more Dash?
Right. That's a good point. Like, yeah, that's kind of just been looming out there. We are getting a core set at the end of the year as our last set. So definitely mechanologists could come back. Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, this card is a staple. It's killing or making people block with their armor, which is super important.
Cards.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. So it's making you block with cards out of their hand, which is great. Dashes already have, I got that mixed up because it's magnetic wave or something.
Magnetic shockwave. Let's not say that on this podcast. As a Lexi gamer, can we not talk about that, please?
The suite of cards that Dash has, by pulling cards out of your hand with this card and pulling armor with that card, can be super disruptive, and it's a big feels bad. I had this card played against me while I was playing Briar at Indy, and I had a perfect Channel Mile Heroic turn set up, and they pulled my Blue Earth, and I was like, oh.
That's an adorable hand you have there, Ted.
I guess I'll just set this channel and play it later. So yeah, I think it's really good. $5. Definitely I want to say definitely, but this is, I mean, I'd be surprised if it went lower than this. I think this is kind of where a low point for this card. One last thing I do want to mention on this before we head to my second pick, Nate, is the rainbow foil at $8.50 kind of surprised me. We normally don't like hype rainbow foils or like collectibles during the deep dive, but if you're like looking to get rainbow foils on this and you want like a rainbow foil Dash deck, $8.50 is a steal. That should be way higher than that. It should be like 10, 15 maybe.
It's amazing that like the Dash won the calling. In Baltimore.
Oh yeah.
And like
I forgot about that. Yes, that's good.
This card's basically at an all-time low. So
yeah.
Dash is very good into Illusionist. So as we can go through like Road to National season, I think Dash struggles in the Ranger, has good matchups into Oldhim, but I think Dash can be built to beat Rangers, and it's good into Illusionist. And depending on what the new Shadow Runeblade looks like, Dash is just like an all-around, just like very, like it's like bad Oldhim in a way, where it's like very consistent, but like scary, also,
for sure. All right, let's jump over to my next pick here, Nate. Codex of Inertia. We've been, I think personally, you and I have been talking about this card for a little bit. Even I was kind of on it before Pro Tour. I saw some steam picking up for this card, in the circles that I run in. Honestly, kind of shocked where it says today. So 575 for the non-foil. Again, it's moving pretty good. This was in most Lexi decks, I believe. I mean, I know there was Lexi decks running this. I think it's a pretty solid card. Is it as busted as Frailty? No, it's pretty fair. But yeah, for $6, yeah, I think pick up a play set of these now because I think it'll only get more popular as we get into RTN season.
Yeah, a lot of the Lexi decks were running 3-ofs. I think this card is definitely interesting in other Ranger decks. I think this card does not have as many applications in Assassin.
Yeah.
But honestly, the best Lexi deck that was at Pro Tour, shout out to the Wolfpack, was only running 1 or 0 of these.
Yeah.
Not to say that like we aren't looking at like potentially changing that, but the way that we have the deck built, Codex of Inertia just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, overall, the card, like I said, I think it's pretty fair. It's a yellow pitch. It blocks just like the other codexes, but it's just fair, right? It kind of just lets you, YOLO off the top and then see what happens. But yeah, I think it's like you said, it's maybe a one of, maybe a two of, maybe three of at some point. I don't know about that, but I think it's pretty solid. And for $5, $6, I think this is maybe an overlooked card a bit. Couple points. Codex of Blood Rot is still like $8. Nate, do you know why
That
that's possible? Do you know why that's
that
happening?
don't make no sense.
Yeah,
That's
this
all I
card
gotta say
should
about
be
that.
more expensive than Blood Rot by a couple bucks. Again, the last point I want to make on this, same situation. Rainbow foil at $8 on TCG Player. That should not be. Like I think you should be a little bit more expensive than $8. There should be more of a gap.
The one interesting thing is like, does the fact that there's a Marvel cap the upside of the rainbow foil? And that's a question that I don't know that we have a good answer to because we're
There's
just kind of getting into
yeah,
these Marvel treatments. We didn't have Marvel dragons.
yeah.
And the only other Marvels were Marvel weapons or Marvel weapons and equipment in Dynasty. So we don't know kind of like how much this can cap the upside of the rainbow foils for these
I mean,
multipliers.
like
Because rainbow foils are
Soraya, right?
incredibly rare.
Yeah,
Soraya's a legendary though, so it's a little bit different
yeah,
too.
that's true.
And like that Marvel was rare AF.
Yeah,
That's that's a
yeah.
little different story. So it'll be interesting to just kind of like keep note of and keep track of it
They're so
for
far
the future
apart.
sense.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're so far apart right now, Nate, at like $8 versus like $150.
Yeah.
That I mean, I don't think there's any like hurt or there's like no comparison, right? If you wanted a shiny deck, right, you go with the $8 right now. But like you said, maybe as this card, let's say this card starts gaining popularity and that rainbow foil starts pushing up, right? Once it starts getting to like $30, $40, or like maybe the frailty is the better one to look at, right? Is the rainbow foil being pushed down because of the Marvel treatment? We'll have to look at that maybe next week.
Sometimes in life, Ted, you've got two life decisions to make. Are you going to be a bougie bitch or are you going to be a basic bitch? And I think that if you're going to be a bougie bitch, you got to go for the Marvel. Like you can't just
Yeah.
settle for a rainbow foil. And if you're going to be a basic bitch, you're just going to have a non-foil deck.
We're talking about $24 versus $450. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. It is an interesting point to bring up, but yeah, well, maybe we'll take a look at the frailty next week because that one is a little bit more expensive, and we'll be able to. Maybe there's some data there we can take a look at.
You know what, listeners? If you made it this far in the podcast, I want everybody in the comments below. Let us know. You bougie bitch or you basic bitch?
Oh boy, yeah. Let's see.
I'm a basic bitch.
Yeah,
I'm a basic bitch. Yeah.
Okay. Let's jump over to your picks, Nate. First one here, Tome of Fyendal.
Tome of Fyendal. Let's just read the text on this card real quick, Ted.
Mm-hmm.
Draw 2 cards.
That's
I heard
good. I give that
a thumbs
good.
Up. Heard that drawing card's good. If it's played from Arsenal, heal 1 life for each card in your hand.
Also thumbs up from me. I like healing.
People play that Sigil of Solace card, and that card doesn't even block.
Yeah, it's very true.
This card blocks 2.
It's missing that.
Yep.
It's missing those 2 words though, Nate, that I absolutely love as a Runeblade fan.
Dog, you got creepers. What are you talking about? You don't even need. It doesn't even need to say that shit.
Yeah, it's true. Play it as an instant. Let's go.
It's yellow, and it costs 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yellow is important because we're getting Light Illusionist back. If there's any way that this new Prism can gain action points, oh baby, you better buckle your britches because we're gonna see this card pumping.
This card was played in Dromai, right, with Chromai. Like anytime in this game you see a gain an action point, you always have to consider this card, in my opinion.
So 3 things that I'm looking for in the next set to make this card absolutely moon. Does Prism have a way to cheat action points to be able to play this card and not just end turn? Does Vincent or Vincetti or whatever that thing's, I don't know. Maybe she's Italian. I don't know.
Yeah.
Does she want to run creepers? And does she have the ability to actually use this card and use the additional resources and cards that she gets off of Tome?
Yeah.
3. Does Brute get a more consistent way to roll 4 or higher? Because baby, if you can roll a 4 and then just be like, I'm gonna draw some cards and heal.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna start my turn like normal.
Yeah. So number 2, the things that you mentioned, Nate, are pretty much like Runeblade staples. And I find it hard pressed that she does not run creepers.
I think we only need to hit 2 of the 3 of these for this card to go absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
It's sitting at $5 for the non-foil, 36 for the rainbow foil.
Yeah.
And again, we go back to, are you bougie bitch? Are you basic bitch?
Yeah. So we've talked about this before, Nate, and the rainbow foils in WTR for Majestics are going up. This one's kind of come back down. I bought a set of these a couple months ago, and I think I'm a little bit negative on these. So I think $36 is not a bad price for the rainbow foil. The $5 for the non-foil is nuts. I think way back in chain days, I paid like $20 a piece for these, and I was like happy. I think this card is like so undervalued right now. It's insane. It's not even moving that much. 20 cards in the last week is like kind of like a low amount considering the last 2 cards we looked at were close, were like double that or more, right? So
by the time it's theirs, I'm actually buying the rainbow foils at $36. So that price doesn't even like
that doesn't exist. Yeah.
No, I'm going to. I'm already convinced. I'm all aboard the Tome train.
We talked ourselves into it. Yeah.
We talked ourselves into it. It's the worst part about this podcast. We just talk ourselves into buying cards.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think $5, buy your playset now, guys. Yep. Like this one I like, if you noticed in the last couple of cards, I've been like hinting around that it's like, oh, this is definitely the bottom because I don't want to say that, then it goes down. But this one I can confidently say, like, buy these now. Like $5 is great.
Yep.
All right, let's jump into the last one here for this episode. Glint.
Another WTR banger. What is that WTR?
Yep.
When is return to WTR, please?
That'd be fun.
Let's go back. Come on, J-Dubs, make it happen. So they've spoiled like the new heroes that are coming, but if this is a light and shadow set, we know that we're going to be getting light and shadow support. Bolton currently sucks booty cheeks. Sorry.
Yeah, he's going to get some gas.
He's going to get some gas.
Heard it here first. I bet you.
Yeah. And if he gets gas, Dorinthia might subsequently get gas. Either way, if they're both getting gas, Glint is a good card.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't specify what kind of weapon. It just says target weapon gains go again and potentially draw a card off of a blue 3 block.
Yeah, Reprise is good.
Blue 3 block that draws you a card?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Sign me up.
$4 too. Like $3.98. Yeah. You just buy these. You look at the chart here. It's just been like chilling from like $4 to $6. Dorinthia, I'm not surprised by this chart, not surprised by this price. Yeah, Dorinthia is just not a hero at the moment. I don't know how Dorinthia even comes close to like Lexi. Like, oh my god, that matchup.
So
It's just like
you
show me
end
what you
turns,
got,
yeah.
and then you just punch them into the dirt.
You somehow end turn 0 with 2 counters on your Dawnblade and then say, let's play the video game
Yeah,
and hope that's enough. Is basically how you beat
yeah.
Lexi. But
Yeah, I mean, like, but you have a good point here. There's going to be warrior support. Bolton's going to get some support. I
yeah,
think Nate. I think that Dusk Till Dawn. Looking at the numbers that they showed to us, right, in the article and what James talked about at the keynote. I think this set. In my mind, I always thought it was just like a supplemental set for Monarch, but I believe, looking at the numbers, like 56 Majestics, 8 legendaries. I think this set's going to fan out more
massive.
than I realized.
Yeah, that's
So
massive.
yeah, so I think don't discount Dory getting support, Reinhardt getting support. Not even just Levia cards that are like good in Reinhardt. I think there'll be
Yeah,
a good amount of support for all the heroes. Kind of like we've talked about it, right? Maybe not as powerful as Crucible of War, but maybe a return to a supplemental set that like you get a good card, you get a good card. I think the set can definitely fan out and take a lot, give support out in a lot of sets or a lot of heroes. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. I think if they can hit all the heroes and introduce 2 new playable heroes, it's kind of insane,
Yeah.
and the set will be bomb.
Yeah. So to that point, I guess what I'm trying to say, Nate, and maybe for the listeners, is that yeah, we're not telling you like go and like gobble up some of these cards, but if you don't have play sets of some of these cards right
Get them.
now, get them now, right? The $5 here or there. Fill them out. Yeah, again, we don't know this, so don't go speculating like crazy. I'm even hedging a bit, right?
Rampant speculation.
Rampant speculation. Yeah. So just like you have to monitor, you kind of have to
Yeah.
play with that a bit, right? Because we don't know what's in the set. So, you don't want to get burned later. Yeah. So to end out the episode tonight, Buylist. My side, I decided to bite the bullet and pick up a Rainbow Flower Heart. Um, yeah, I was too late. I saw it at 200, but I bought at 400. That's fine. It is what it is, but now I have my playset of Fableds, Rainbow Foil, the ones that are manageably priced. So that feels kind of fun. And then I'm also trying to find my last Looming Doom. I found one my last Looming Doom EAs. I found 2 of them. I'm looking for one more. And of course, they got bought out yesterday. So now they're like up over $50. So I'm still trying to scour the internet. Nate, what are you looking at picking up these days?
So I have all of the cold foil Majestics from Crew besides Courage
Ooh.
of Bladehold. So I'm probably going to be. Oh man, I've spent way too much money lately, so trying to dial that train back a little bit. But I have a couple pretty good items to look to trade into something like that. So I have a couple of extra cold foil gambling gloves.
Oh.
I'm gonna hold until like we see some shadow brute support, because I think that
Mm-hmm. Not a
that
bad
card will
idea.
pop when we see more like brute stuff. So I've got a couple extras. So if you want one
We have courage.
after it pumps more, I'm willing to trade it or sell
Okay.
it.
Or so, okay.
I'm not really attached to them. I have 3, so
Oh man.
I've got one for each hand and one for a foot. So,
Nice.
um, but I mean, like it's just kind of like rounding out the collection, adding a couple like really like cool niche items like Go Banana is it's like something that I always
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like looking at and like to get one of those cold foil potion of energy potion like time snaps. Those are the things that like
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of always keeping an eye out for, and like if I get bored, I'll pull the trigger.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of with you on that one for sure. Okay, well, yeah, that's going to do it for us this week. Again, everyone, thanks for watching. Thanks for
Yeah.
subscribing. Like the video, please, and
Yeah.
leave a comment. It all helps. And we'll be back on Saturday for a EV breakdown of some of the sets.
Yep. And don't forget, guys, in the comments below, you bougie bitch or you basic bitch? We got to know how you like your cards. Drop it below.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that's going to do it. Peace.
Peace.